Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy the story. Remember to like and subscribe. And now the story.
Tom Hudson loved technology. He had a smart TV, a smart fridge, a smart thermostat, and a smart speaker. He enjoyed the convenience and comfort of controlling his devices with his voice or his phone. He also valued his security and privacy, especially after hearing about the recent burglaries in his neighborhood. That's why he decided to install a state-of-the-art security system with surveillance cameras around his house. He was proud of his new system, which included high-definition cameras, motion detectors, floodlights, and alarms. He could monitor his property from anywhere, and receive alerts if anything suspicious happened. He felt safer and more confident in his home. However, not everyone shared his enthusiasm. His neighbors, who belonged to the Homeowners Association, were unhappy with his cameras. They claimed that they infringed on their privacy and went against the neighborhood's sense of trust. They told him that it was illegal to film his neighbors without their consent, and that he had to take down his cameras or face the consequences. Tom was shocked by their reaction. He assured them that his cameras only surveyed his property, and that he had no interest in spying on anyone. He explained that he installed the cameras for his own security, and that he had the right to protect his home. He also pointed out that there had been 7 break-ins in the neighborhood so far this year, and that he was not willing to take any chances. His neighbors were not convinced. They said that his cameras made everyone feel unsafe and uncomfortable to use their front yards. They accused him of being paranoid and distrustful. They insisted that he remove his cameras or he would get fined by the HOA. Tom refused to comply. He asked him to spell out the exact rule that forbade him from having security cameras. They told him that it fell under everyone's right to the enjoyment of their property, and that his cameras violated that right. They said that the HOA had the authority to enforce the rules and impose penalties. Tom challenged them to prove their case. He said that he was not breaking any law, and that his cameras did not interfere with anyone's enjoyment of their property. He said that he was willing to go to court if necessary, and that he would not back down. The HOA did not back down either. They started fining him for every day that he kept his cameras up. They also sent him letters and emails, threatening him with legal action and eviction. They tried to intimidate him and pressure him to give in. Tom did not give in. He hired a lawyer and sued the HOA for harassment and violation of his rights. He argued that the HOA had no legal basis to restrict his use of security cameras, and that their fines and threats were unjustified and unlawful. He also presented evidence of the burglaries in the neighborhood, and the benefits of his security system. The case went to court, and the judge ruled in favor of Tom. The judge agreed that Tom had the right to install security cameras on his property, and that the HOA had no authority to prohibit him from doing so. The judge also found that the HOA had acted in bad faith and abused their power. The judge ordered the HOA to stop fining and harassing Tom, and to pay for his legal and other fees. Tom was relieved and vindicated by the verdict. He felt that justice had been served, and that he had stood up for his rights. He hoped that his neighbors would respect his decision, and that they would live in peace and harmony. The HOA was humiliated and furious by the verdict. They felt that they had been wronged, and that Tom had gotten away with his arrogance. They resented him and his cameras, and they vowed to get revenge. They plotted to sabotage his security system, and to make his life miserable. The HOA did not give up on their plan to get rid of Tom and his cameras. They decided to take matters into their own hands, and to use any means necessary to achieve their goal. They formed a secret group, and recruited some of the most disgruntled and devious neighbors. They called themselves the Anti-Camera Coalition, ACC, and they met regularly to discuss and execute their schemes. Their first attempt was to cut the power supply to Tom's house, hoping to disable his security system and leave him vulnerable. They hired an electrician, who was also a member of the HOA, to tamper with the wires and cause a blackout. However, they did not know that Tom had a backup generator, which automatically kicked in when the power went out. His security system remained functional. and his cameras captured the electrician's face and license plate. Tom reported the incident to the police, and the electrician was arrested. Their second attempt was to spray paint over Tom's cameras, hoping to blind them and prevent them from recording. They bought some cans of black paint, and waited for a dark night to sneak up to Tom's house. However, they did not know that Tom had installed motion detectors and floodlights, which detected their movement and lit up the area. His cameras also had night vision, and recorded their faces and actions. Tom alerted the police, and the vandals were caught. Their third attempt was to hack into Tom's security system, hoping to access his footage and delete it. They hired a hacker, who was also a member of the HOA, to break into Tom's network and compromise his devices. They did not know that Tom had a strong firewall and encryption, which protected his data and blocked any unauthorized access. His security system also had a feature that notified him of any attempted breach, and traced the source of the attack. Tom reported the incident to the police, and the hacker was traced. Their fourth attempt was to plant false evidence on Tom's property, hoping to frame him for a crime and get him arrested. They bought some drugs, weapons, and stolen goods, and hid them in Tom's garage and backyard. They then tipped off the police, and claimed that they had seen Tom engaging in illegal activities. They failed to understand that Tom had cameras inside and outside his house, which recorded everything that happened on his property. His cameras showed that he had nothing to do with the items, and that they were planted by his neighbors. Tom showed the footage to the police, and the accusers were exposed. Their fifth attempt was to hire a hitman, hoping to kill Tom and end his problem once and for all. They pooled their money, and contacted a claimed to be notorious assassin, who was not a member of the HOA. They gave him Tom's address, schedule, and photo, and instructed him to make it look like an accident. Tom had a personal bodyguard, who was also a former Navy SEAL. He had hired him after receiving death threats from his neighbors. His bodyguard was always by his side, and ready to protect him from any danger. His bodyguard spotted the hitman, and neutralized him. The HOA's attempts to sabotage Tom's security system and to make his life miserable failed miserably. They only succeeded in getting themselves arrested, sued, and evicted. Tom's security system proved to be invincible, and his cameras recorded everything. Tom's lawyer used the footage as evidence, and filed a series of lawsuits against the HOA and its members. He demanded compensation for the damages, injuries, and emotional distress that they had caused to Tom. He also requested a restraining order, and an injunction to prevent them from ever bothering Tom again. The court ruled in favor of Tom, and awarded him a huge sum of money. The court also ordered the HOA and its members to stay away from Tom, and to leave the neighborhood. The court also dissolved the HOA, and banned them from forming any similar association. The court also praised Tom for his courage and resilience, and commended him for his security system. Tom was relieved and satisfied by the verdict. He felt that he had finally won the war, and that he had taught his enemies a lesson. He enjoyed his security system, and his peace and quiet. He also made some new friends, who were also fans of technology and security. He invited him over to his house, and showed them his gadgets. They admired his system, and asked him for tips and advice. He was happy to share his knowledge and experience, and to help them improve their own security. He also invited them to join his new club, which he called the Camera Club. They agreed, and they met regularly to discuss and enjoy their cameras.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.